Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Radiant Moon Tarot. My name is Victoria, and we are here today talking about the new moon in the sign of Cancer occurring on July 14th of 2026. This is packing a punch here, guys. A new moon in and of itself is all about new beginnings, trying something different, a new outlook, a new perspective. Can be used in the best of ways for manifestation, for focusing on your goals and your dreams. But it's a fresh energy, right? A new cycle begins. This new moon will culminate in a full moon in Cancer in 6 months' time. But let's focus on today. Cancer is the sign associated with the moon. So already, before we even look at anything else, this is a very blessed new moon. It's in its home. It's very happy. It's very comfortable in this sign, and there can be a lot of blessings that comes from that. There's a lot of healing energy that's associated with this moon. But it carries the flavor of Cancer. And Cancerian energy is nurturing. It's about the home, the family, where we feel safe and secure. It can be about your siblings, your ancestors, but it can also be about tapping into healing energy, nurturing not just other people, but yourself, your goals, your dreams. It's very calm energy, but this one is happening right before some of the biggest and most anticipated astrological aspects that we've seen in a long time. And so part of the theme with this new moon is to settle back and take it all in. Tap into the healing energy, tap into the insightful energy and the awakening energy that comes in here as well. There could be some sudden breakthroughs, some sudden shifts. You could be all of a sudden looking at the world through fresh eyes, a fresh lens, right? And some of this can come out of the blue. So the day after this new moon, we've got a sextile with Uranus and Neptune. Now, this is quite rare. Uranus is known as our great awakener, the modern day ruler of Aquarius. And it is helping us to awaken to spirit, awaken to a new sense of being, awaken to ideas, right? Where do you want to awaken? Where do you see an awakening happening, right? Anything goes with Uranus, right? It's wild card energy. Uranus is also here to bring shocks and surprises, to help break us up, shake us up, and bring us freedom in our lives. And sometimes we just don't quite see that coming. It does bring things quite unexpectedly. But it ultimately does want us to be free. Sometimes the path to freedom can be a little challenging, okay? But ultimately enlightening and rewarding. But in a sextile with Neptune, the modern day ruler of Pisces. And when you think of Pisces, what do you think? Emotional, creative, spiritual, patient, maybe? All in the good ways, right? Neptune is linked to liquids and water, but is linked to creativity, our creative selves, but is also very much linked with spirituality. The last time that we had a Uranus-Neptune conjunction was way back in 1968. So we all know what the 60s brought, right? Whether you lived it or whether you just heard about it, or maybe your parents lived through it. It brought about breaking out of societal norms, right? We shook things up a little bit. It's the 1960, right? This is back when, the Beatles were in India and it's like all psychedelic and all that kind of stuff. Meditation and new age kind of stuff. And here we are still thinking that, things like tarot and crystals and meditation are new age. Well, hello, they were back in the 60s too. So how far have we come? What does this one mean? Right? So if we look back to the 60s as age of love and peace, oh, wouldn't that actually be wonderful to step back into? And hopefully that comes around again. Right? No more war. No more people fighting people. It doesn't work. Right? I'm more powerful than you. No, you're not. And fight it out to the bitter end. Right? No. What happens if we all come together in a different energy? It's already started. The revolution's already started. The old dinosaurs are dying out, right? They're desperately trying to hold on to power by any means possible because they know they're going to get the boot, right? So think back all the way to, or look back, or ask questions all the way back, all the way back to the 60s, right? Can we revive that? Is there a better way to go about that? Uranus, Neptune. Right? A little bit of interesting stuff going on there. We also, in the days that follow this new moon, we've got Uranus again, okay, in a trine with Pluto. Okay, so that can be really quite interesting there as well. That's on the 18th. And then on the 20th, Jupiter makes 3 different aspects. Jupiter expands everything it touches. Jupiter amplifies things, right? And if we know that this energy is coming, we can kind of prepare for it, or we can harness it. Okay. Jupiter in a opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, July 20th. That can be a tough one. Okay. But we can also harness the power in a positive way. We also have Jupiter in a trine with Jupiter in Leo in a trine with Neptune. And then the same day we have Jupiter in a sextile with Uranus. So a lot of Jupiter energy on the 20th, and this is really amplifying and ramping up things. But Jupiter is also a planet that wants us to have freedom. So we got 2 planets of freedom, right? That are helping us to break down the old and welcome in the new, or expand out of our comfort zone into a different realm, into different possibilities. So it's really a transformative time. So all that week from July 14th all the way, July 14th with the new moon, of course, we'll start to feel the new moon a couple of days before, because on July 12th, we've got a Mercury cazimi, okay, at 20 degrees of Cancer. And then the new moon in Cancer will be at 21 degrees. So the Mercury cazimi can bring us clarity, can bring us communication, can bring us an insight. Right? But we see things very clearly there. So it can be about seeing your goals and dreams clearly, or maybe having a vision perhaps as well. But from about the 12th all the way up until the 22nd, when the sun goes into Leo, awesome time for meditation, for divination practice perhaps, for making some changes or looking at your long-term goals, short-term goals. Where do I want to make change in my life? But it's about looking at the big picture rather than focusing on the little tiny things. So this new moon, like I said, will be at 21 degrees of Cancer. Okay. And it will be, if you're on the west coast of North America, this will be right in the middle of the night. 2:43 in the morning is when that energy will peak. If you're on the east coast of North America, 5:43 in the morning. Again, on the 14th. If you're over in London, if you're in the UK, 10:43 a.m. And over in Australia, still on the 14th, we're all in alignment this day, will be at 7:43 p.m. on that day. So we can all have an opportunity to really embrace this energy in new and wonderful ways. So let's grab a card for the collective, and then I will put timestamps down below for each astrological sign. Thank you. Watch your sun, moon, and your rising, and you'll get a full picture message for your entire moon. We've got healing moon, seek healing. Now that fell out of the deck. I didn't choose it. And what did we just say with this moon? Cancerian moon. It's nurturing. It's healing. and the moon is in its home. So seek healing. Now, this can be about, getting in touch with yourself, with your feelings, right? And working through them, right? Healing yourself. You can do meditations that can help you with healing, but you can also see a healing practitioner. Now, yes, this can be very spiritual. So this can be, like a Reiki master or something helps you with some energy healing, right? But this can also be something a little more practical, right? Good time for seeking out a new practitioner of sorts. So healing your body, your mind, right? Your soul, your emotional healing. You seek a counselor, a massage therapist, a new doctor, right? Perhaps there as well. Perhaps it's healing for, one of your children, right? Maybe find a new dentist or something like that, right? So a lot of healing energy is coming in with this moon. And so use this as an opportunity to move forward from something, because we're about to get like kind of a big jolt. And it feels like we've been saying that all year. Okay, we are heading into eclipse season as well, so that ought to be quite fun. So this little jolt, it's good to cleanse, it's good to heal, it's good to connect, right? So that we can prepare for tomorrow, and prepare for like a shift. Some of you will get a big shift. Some of you will feel a little more gently. It just depends where you are and if you're ready. And but ultimately, there's some big energy that's, kind of smoking up the skies there a little bit. So embrace it. Anyway, I will leave that there. We will move on to each individual sign. I'll highlight which astrology house that this is highlighting for you, and we'll pull a couple of cards for you as well. So all timestamps down below. Have a wonderful new moon. Please do like, share, and subscribe as well. It does help my video get seen. If you like it, just a thumbs up, quick flick of the finger for you. But if you do enjoy my readings, please hit the subscribe button, and it will more likely pop into your feed whenever I post a new video. So I thank you for that. Timestamps for everyone down below. Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. This new moon will be taking place in your 4th house. Now, this is a Cancerian house, and this is all about your house, your home, your private life, your ancestry, your children, and your maternal parent. Usually the mother, okay, but it can be whoever was the nurturing force. So some of you here with a new moon in this area, you may be looking for a new home. Perhaps some of you, depends on your motivation. It might be that you want to live in a more vibrant neighborhood with younger people. Maybe you want to live in a more family-oriented neighborhood where your children can run and play in the cul-de-sac and learn to ride their bicycles. Perhaps you are looking to move to a more safe and secure neighborhood. Okay, so some of you could have a house move at some point. It may be that you have to move for your job. You could also be welcoming new living arrangements or new people into your family with this as well. But you could also just be focusing on nurturing your home environment. Home is where your heart is, right? Making your nest egg. Some of you might be, redecorating at this new moon. If you can't afford something new, at least make your existing place feel new. Even a bucket of paint goes a very long way, right? So you could be welcoming in new families. You could have a shifting dynamic in where you live here as well. But again, ultimately, this can be very nurturing and very healing for you. It can be very calm in this new moon, and maybe you're not used to calm every single time, every single day, but this can be where you can embrace a little bit of calm, and it feels good, right? Rather than always in the hustle and bustle. So your 4th house energy is where this is. You can also get maybe new neighbors as well. We have the moon cycles and we've got patience. Okay, that's a message meant just for you here, Aries. If there is something new that you have your mind set on, whether it's something to do with your house and your home or who you live with, or whether it's something else, right? Patience is what is required. It takes, in our very short term, from a new moon, it can take about 2 weeks for something to open up, for something to transpire, for a conversation to start. Okay, but that's your very short term energy. Okay, the new moon in Cancer will come to the end of its cycle in 6 months. And if you're waiting 6 months for something to shift, or you're looking for things, you're trying to make something happen, it could take up until that length of time. So patience is what you need. Okay. You like things to happen fairly quickly here, Aries, so I can kind of go a little bit against the grain. All right. But patience is necessary because, the things that can happen really quickly can be really gratifying, but they're not always long lasting. All right. So just remember that sometimes we need to allow for things to come in naturally, and that way they have more of a chance of being a little more permanent in our lives. Okay. We also have the King of Pentacles, also very patient. Okay, the King of Pentacles, this can be what is really activating for you at this new moon. And the King of Pentacles, your money, your career path, your financial status, your home as well, because the King of Pentacles can represent that a helpful person may come into your life. And this person can help you with your money, with your investments, also real estate. Okay, can come in with that as well. King of Pentacles can also represent a banker. He is in the upright, so it is a positive connection, a positive person. But this can also be you being very confident that you're going to achieve your goals, but also very patient, because to create things in reality does sometimes take a while. Okay, but in the meantime, you're going to do what you need to do to make things happen. Okay, but the kings are the masters. This is stability, security, and a really healthy financial status, something for the long term that does bring in that stability. Those are your messages there, Aries. Don't forget to set some goals, write them down, create a vision board. Can be really good. Cancerian energy tends to be a little bit creative as well, and all of this can help you on your path, on your journey. So I hope you have a wonderfully pleasant new moon. Hello there, Taurus, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. This is happening in your third house. Now, your third house is associated with Gemini, with Mercury energy. Mercury right now is retrograde. Okay, so you may be revisiting something from the past, resurrecting old ideas, perhaps. You could also have a blast from the past come back in with this new moon, but it's for a new beginning in some way. So you could, for example, somehow reconnect with an old friend. And this can be like a revival of your friendship. You could somehow bump into an old business colleague, and perhaps this can transpire into a positive connection for, like, say, a new job, right? So, but you could also be resurrecting old ideas and somehow make them new again. If you have an old manuscript or a document shoved away in a drawer, pull it out. It might be time to just give it a little bit of a polish and see what you can do with that. So Mercury retrograde does not necessarily need to be negative, that it does get the modern day spin of being negative, because it can actually be positive, because it can help you slow down a little bit. Like as soon as something goes sideways, like an email goes missing, you're like, okay, I got to slow down, which is not a bad thing, right? It can, of course, represent that you do need to be careful with technology and, contracts or documents and things like that, because things can go a little sideways. But again, it doesn't have to stop your life. So at a new moon with Mercury retrograde in your third house can be very beneficial in some ways to some people, but it can create a blind spot. So we do just need to be aware of that and really focus on positive communication, because in this is your chatty house. This is your house of communication, of technology, of your neighbors, of your social life, right? It's also, Gemini energy is multiples, right? Multiples of things, multiple opportunities, multiple paths that you can take. It can be multiple people that come in. So it can be very people-y for some of you. And sometimes, when the new moon is in people-y house, there it can bring about new connections, new neighbors, connections with new friendships, right? You can have those come in as well. Or again, with that Mercury retrograde influence, can bring in something, a blast from the past. We do also have Uranus in Gemini as well. So this can really be very awakening for you also. And it can also, again, bring in that healing energy. So the third house, the matters of your mind, your communication, your technology, how do you make them work the best for you? Some of you may be buying a new gadget. Be careful with your existing gadgets, right? And especially Cancer energy is water. Okay, so be careful not to drop any of your devices in the sink or the bathtub, or worse, the toilet, right? Who's been there, done that, right? A lot of people. Because we don't want to have to necessarily buy a new piece of technology because we have to. If you're going to buy something new, it's because you want to, right? Because you're not forced into it in a rush, in a hurry, right? So, but yeah, you could be getting some new technology here at that time, but certainly new insights. And again, maybe some clarity with that Mercury cazimi coming in a couple of days before that new moon. So what do you want new in your world, in your life? Okay, this is where you communicate that, talk that out. We have moon maybe, and we've got intuition, okay? Pay attention to your intuition. This is a very insightful, very intuitive, very, very spiritual new moon, also that very healing new moon, right? But your intuition is like lit up, okay, with this. So again, if something feels right, follow that path. If you're thinking, interesting, if you're thinking about someone from your past, like, I wonder whatever happened to this person, they may also be thinking about you. So you might be inclined, like, this is the kind of energy where you might be inclined to look up like an old high school friend, an old college roommate, that kind of thing. Or, I had my first job, my first internship with this person. I wonder what they're doing today. You could be pleasantly surprised if you look someone up, because again, they may have been thinking about you as well. But your intuition can be very helpful in all ways. And don't forget, we do have this, your third house is Gemini energy. Mercury, of course, is the ruler, but Uranus is there. And Uranus can be a great awakener, right? Awaken us up to spirit. The day after is when we have the connection with Uranus and Neptune. So blast from the past, right? All the way back from the 60s, 1968 is the last time that happened. So it's not a frequent thing. Okay. So, open yourselves up, because you could have quite the spiritual awakening that is in alignment for you here, should you be willing to hear it and embrace it. We also have the King of Pentacles. This is interesting. Now, the King of Pentacles, this can certainly be you. You're positive, you're down to earth, you're feeling good. You could have some successes. You might be looking for something new with this King of Pentacles energy, though. New investments opportunities, new real estate opportunities, job prospects, all of those things may come up and may be opening up for you within the next 2 weeks, as your very short term, or the next 6 months. Okay, this can be, and with that King of Pentacles is good stuff. Okay, this is the stuff you like, Taurus, right? This is abundance, prosperity, wealth, right? Stability, security, good money, good finances, good investments, right? And so something that you start today may really come to fruition and pay you great rewards within the next 6 months, but also within the next 6 months is when these doors of opportunity may really open up for you. You may have some sort of link with Aries. Right before your reading, I did Aries reading, and they got the King of Pentacles too. Now, that doesn't happen all that often, okay? And especially since I do shuffle the deck. Number one, I don't put the card back on top. I put it in the middle. And also, I do shuffle the deck at the end of Aries reading and at the beginning of yours. So it's not out here, by coincidence. So there could be something over in the Aries reading that may be there for you. Maybe you are their real estate broker, or you're their financial advisor, right? That could be there, and they bring you in to help fix their finances or show them a better way, because they may be impulsive with money and their moon card was actually healing. So there could be that connection going on there. So you could have some connection with an Aries over the next 6 months. But that is what I've got for you. I will leave you that there. I hope you have an awesome new moon, and I'll see you guys next time. Hello there, Gemini, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. This is happening in your second house of money, income, resources, possessions, values, and self-worth. So this can be really, really positive for you guys. If you put a new project into motion, or start your own business, this can actually be really prosperous for you. If you need some resources to get something off the ground, again, you may just find what it is that you need. But generally, the second house, we look at our income, how we make our money, how we spend our money, how we can grow our money here as well. And so you could really have some wonderful opportunities that are opening up for you. But you could also, this can also be a great place to set those intentions. Hello, Lily. My cards are sliding all over the place because my cat has all of a sudden decided that she wants to cuddle. So if you like cats, this is my lily pad. You can't see her because she'll knock my camera over. She is an inquisitive little tabby cat. Anyway, hello, honey. Yes. So let's have a look and see what the cards have to say for you. New moon and beginnings. Awesome. Not only do we have a new moon in the sky, but we've got new beginnings here for you with the new moon card. So where do you want something new or improved in your life? This can, again, show that there's new investment opportunities. You have a lot of ideas, Gemini. And you're very sociable for the most part. So, this can be about new discussions with people about an idea or a project that you've got, right? You can really get, because you're excited and your excitability is infectious, right? You could really kind of spark some interest with other people. And that may be opening the door to resources that you may need to get something off the ground, or a partnership. A new moon is a new moon in your second house, especially in Cancer, is about, recognizing your value and your worth, okay? That you are worthy of, all kinds of wonderful things in your life, especially money and abundance, right? And so don't tell yourself anything different. So you may be shifting your perspective on your own self-worth at this time as well. But new beginnings, new things of all kinds. Oh, we've got the Ace of Cups here too. Look at that, right? That's wonderful. Ace of Cups and the new beginnings and a new moon in Cancer. Okay, some of you, oh boy. So you could potentially, if you have a goal, a dream, a relationship, something that you've been nurturing, okay, this can really be expanding upon all of those wonderful blessings already. But this is new upon new. So Ace of Cups, right? New creative project, new ideas, new resources. This can be a healing energy, forgiveness. This can be new people, new love, things that you love, right? Whatever it is. The aces are new, fresh energy. They often bring gifts from the universe. Sometimes it's small and it has the opportunity and to grow and to blossom. Okay, it can bring people into our lives that are very beneficial for us, right? And again, it's the seed of something new. We plant that seed, plant that intention, and allow it to grow in the best of ways. Happiness and joy come about with the Ace of Cups as well. So, and that is new energy in a water sign. Cups is a water sign, right? So new energy in Cancer. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. Nurture your goals and your dreams, and you just never know what might happen. Short-term goals, short-term in the next couple of weeks, right? We get the full moon in Aquarius in a couple of weeks, but really up to about 6 months, right? When this new moon turns into the full moon in Cancer. At any point in those next 6 months is where things can expand and grow, come in new, those portals open for you, and it's a wonderful energy. I'll leave that there for you guys, and I hope you have a wonderfully glorious new moon. Hello there, Cancer. You guys are the star of the show this week. Welcome to your new moon reading. Now, this is in your first house, okay? So your first house is all about you, your goals, your dreams, your visions for the future. What do you want? You're a very nurturing sign, so you probably do, put other people first quite frequently. Maybe not always, but quite frequently. Now is the time where that new moon wants you to turn your insights into yourself. Look at yourself, right? So you might be wanting more fun in your life. Maybe you quite often at a new moon, we sometimes have a look at our wardrobe or our appearance, and we might change that up a little bit. So you may be doing that. You might be freshening up your wardrobe, but maybe you really do want to focus on your home, right? And does it feel like it's your castle, like it's the place that you want to go to? You might be rearranging your furniture, buying new furniture, right? Painting your walls. Perhaps you're looking at moving somewhere that's better suited to your dynamic at this time, your family, the location, right? All of that kind of stuff. But it's what's important to you right now. First house is also about your attitude, how you present yourself to the world, right? And, it can also be where you get some deep insights. We've got that Mercury Cazimi a couple of days before this new moon. So you may be getting real clarity and insight into the things in your world and whether they work for you or not. You can also have a little bit of a vision of the future, okay? And you are the driving force behind making that come true. And so it can be a very, very interesting moon for you, but do focus on nurturing yourself a little bit. It'll be really beneficial for you, even if you just find an hour or two where you can just have some quiet time for yourself. It'll probably really refresh your energy in a big way, but maybe also try something fun. It's like, I've always wanted to do this and I've always let other people talk me out of it because they weren't interested, and I'm going to go and do it now, right? You probably feel really awesome if you do that. So really, really interesting moon for you, really powerful moon. Blood moon, and we got courage. Well then, this can be a breakthrough moment for you. Breaking free, breaking out of a rut, breaking out of a cycle, especially with the planetary influences over the next week, especially tomorrow, Uranus and Neptune, right? Can really break you out of a rut, break you out of a cycle, or bring you like some deep insights, right? It can bring you growth. It can also bring you freedom, right? From something as well. But the blood moon, courage, get out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Do what scares you. Face your fears. Let something go, right? Again, healing energy is powering through with this new moon energy. And when we do face our fears, we open up a world of possibilities, don't we? And we do have, that looks like a blood moon lunar eclipse, doesn't it? We have a lunar eclipse coming up in August. Eclipses tend to bring fated events. They sometimes shake up our world a little bit. Sometimes we get unexpected things. Sometimes hidden things are revealed, including opportunities and insights. So we're heading into an exciting August. And so between now and then could actually be really, really interesting for you. And again, you can have a little bit of a breakthrough. And we have the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups, you need to turn inwards. All right. Turn inwards. There's something missing. You're not feeling connected with something, right? Like, does this person on that card look happy and connected and engaged? No, not at all. Okay. So there's something, okay, that needs healing, or you need to pay attention to nurture. Nurture yourself, nurture your inner child, nurture your environment, okay? Re-engage with life if you've been feeling a little bit disconnected. The Four of Cups, sometimes we do feel like there's something missing. We can't always put our finger on it. It can also be a little bit of a waiting game, right? And we're like, ugh, I don't know, I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith, okay? Something trying to come in here for you that's really positive, whether it's healing or peace or a new beginning or something exciting, okay? We need to look at that big picture, okay? We need to open ourselves up for to receive something here, okay? But ultimately, nurture and engage with yourself, all right? And that will be your biggest blessing at this new moon. I'll leave that there for you guys. I hope you really do have a wonderful new moon. Don't forget to set some intentions here, for some goals, short-term, long-term, really far in the future, whatever it happens to be, okay? Because the power for you to create and to manifest is yours for the taking right here, right now. So I hope you have a wonderful new moon, and I'll see you next time. Hello there, Leo, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. This is occurring for you in your 12th house. So your 12th house can be about endings and closure. It can be about healing, letting go. It's also can be really about digging deep in your subconscious. Okay, so you are preparing for your solar return, right? Your birthday coming up later this month. So happy birthday if you have a July birthday. You're also preparing for your new moon. But before we can welcome in the new, we've got to deal with the old. We've got to deal with the baggage. We've got to deal with wrapping things up, okay, bringing things to a conclusion. But the 12th house can be an area for a new moon where you will really benefit for a little bit of alone time, a little bit of solitary confinement, if you will, so that you can pause and reflect in a quiet, comfortable, safe space. I feel like here you probably get some sort of insight or clarity. You're also preparing yourself potentially for some changes that you're looking to make in your life, or that maybe you don't even know that you're making. You might just be feeling something shift inside of you, and you might not be able to put your finger on it. So a little bit of meditation, a great time to do that with this new moon. The 12th house also kind of a very spiritual place to have a new moon. It can also, be, again, an ending of something here. All right. And it can be a big one. It can be something you've been leading up to it. All right. Until now. And before you start a new journey, a new venture, a new phase of your life, right? We've got to cleanse and purge. So we could have things like breakups and things like that. Could also be healing past traumas with the 12th house. 12th house, new moon, Cancer, nurturing energy, healing energy, plus a Mercury retrograde. Okay, be very careful driving. You may also have someone in your life that ends up at the doctor or the hospital. Okay, because the 12th house can be hospitals. And all those other aspects put together can represent something a little bit unexpected. It can be a little fender bender. It can be something a little more dramatic. It can be where maybe, you feel like, okay, I've been hiding something for a while, because 12th house can be something hidden. I've been hiding something for a while. I haven't been talking about something, but I think I need to go to the doctor, right? So, it's can be those things that, that have been hiding that come up, right? And so deal with it in the 12th house, okay? Deal with it. Usually the 6th house is where we find new practitioners and things, but the 12th house, where something that has been hidden beneath the surface may come out, okay? And again, like I said, with Mercury retrograde going on as well, be very careful driving, because there could be a hospital visit somewhere in your future. It might be a hospital visit to go visit a friend, okay? But let's have a look. It's also your dreams, your 12th house. It's all about your dreams, your visions, right? What do you want? What are you dreaming about? Where do you want to go, right? So tap into all of that energy. Follow the moon and watch for signs. Now, your 12th house, because you are connecting with your spiritual self in your 12th house, okay, you could be seeing signs, having a vision, having a dream, whatever it is. Signs, symbols, and synchronicities are lining up for you. Can be a butterfly, ladybugs, dragonflies, could be anything, right? Repeating numbers, you name it. Watch for the signs, okay? Be open to it. You're a little bit more open and aware. And we've got the 10 of Cups. Wonderful. The 10 of Cups here, happy home, happy family, happy relationships. Anything is possible. The magic is in the air. And so your happy ever after card. So are you feeling this energy? Are you feeling positive and optimistic, like all is right with the world? If not, this new moon can really bring in that power for you to create that and move closer to this. Okay, so again, watch for the signs. What do you want to create? What do we need to let go of that's, kind of preventing this growth into this 10 of Cups? Sometimes we repress our feelings, our thoughts, especially if we've got like a family unit that we're building here, and those things that are hidden, if we don't bring them to the surface and take care of them, then they're going to do it on their own whim, right? And that's usually when things go out of control. So maybe bring something out to the light if you need to, before it gets out of hand or before it gets explosive, so you can deal with it in a positive way and then move forward into your next year. That's what I have for you, Leo. I thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful new moon. Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. This is happening for you in your 11th house. This is a pretty sparkly place to have a new moon. The 11th house is tied with Aquarian energy and Uranus energy, which is playing a key role throughout the next week or so, is through all of July, to be honest. But the 11th house is your house of social connections, your community, charity. It's also associated with your wishes. So you could really have a lot of help from this lunation to make your wishes come true. You may also be looking for new ways to connect with your community. It is a very humanitarian place to have a new moon. So, and you are a sign of service as well. So you might be wanting to connect with community groups that can help others in some way. Maybe you're a really good cook. So maybe you want to connect with like a shelter or a soup kitchen of some kind and volunteer like once a week or something. And I can help cook or serve the meals or whatever it happens to be. You could be connecting with your community in other ways as well. Maybe it's something to do with volunteer groups, maybe children or animals as well. You could give in other ways, like a volunteer at the local shelter and walk a dog once a week. Maybe you're in a situation where you can't have a pet. So instead, maybe you just help make a pet's life a little bit more enjoyable while they're in the shelter, while they're waiting to be adopted. So there's so many different ways that you can connect with community, but this is also about your social groups and connections as well. It's also about social media. So with a new moon in Cancer, Cancer and energy is very much tied to your home, your family, your private life, all that kind of stuff. And whereas the 11th house can be a little bit more about other people, and about connecting, with people in a different way, like outside your home, most likely. So, a new moon here can really kind of point to needing to nurture your connections with actual people rather than just people online. So you might be cleansing and purging your social media. You may also find that you are connected with too many people on social media. You might be looking through your friends list and going, who is this? And you're like, I'm just going to get rid of anyone if I won't have a coffee with you, or, if I don't actually even really know you, I'm just going to get rid of you, right? Because with that social media, we open the window into our private world. And what you see is not always what is true. And so maybe you're kind of getting a little jaded. There is a little bit of a tech revolution, or rebellion, I should say, that's coming up. And that's part of Uranus energy. Uranus is very rebellious, modern day ruler of Aquarius, right? So if you know an Aquarian, they tend to be a little bit against the grain, a little bit rebellious, right? It's like, you want to copy me on everything that I do? Well, I'm not going to do it anymore then. That kind of thing. But so you could be kind of engaging in a little bit of tech rebellion here and saying, I'm connected with too many people. I have too many apps. I don't even know these people. I'm just going to get rid of all these connections because I want to nurture my connections with people in a better way, right? So you could also just be looking for different groups online that are maybe more in alignment with you, right? Some of these online groups, even if they start out like special interest groups and stuff, even if they start out like kind of positive, they can turn toxic a little bit, because you get people that always want to be in charge, right? And they're always right. So you could just be looking to switch things up a little bit there with your social media. But again, your 11th house, your wishes are highlighted here. So let's see what the cards have. We've got healing moon and seek healing. So you're doing something a little bit different, doing something new, embracing new things, embracing some healing energy, fixing something, getting more nurturing energy in a very positive way. But how are you going to seek healing? You can seek healing for yourself, right? For your family, for your environment, but you can also, help seek other people. Lily, okay, hold on. I've got my cat. Oh, my cat is half asleep. And whenever she is like this, she gets really cuddly and she's like climbing up my back. So she's, hang on. Sorry about that. I think I have distracted her. She's like a 10-pound cat. And when she crawls up your back, it hurts. So anyway, so great moon for healing of all kinds, not just yourself, not just like your family unit, but also other people, the community a little bit, right? Something in your community. We also have the King of Swords. Very nice energy. Now the King of Swords has clarity and a sense of purpose, right? So this is thinking about something, making a decision and going for it and sticking to it. Really great energy for communication of all kinds, for tapping into your inner wisdom, for setting intentions. And again, like with the 11th house with social networks and things like that, right? I'm going to make a decision and I'm going to stand by my decision. I'm going to make the best decision for myself. So it's like more focused communication rather than spreading everything around, right? Talking to and being connected to those who enhance your life in some way, and in a positive way. The King of Swords could also be a very important person that you may speak to. This person is pretty wise. They're fairly intelligent. They're really good with verbal communication. Okay, and so this can be like if you, this can be someone that can help you with healing in some way, especially anything like a counselor or something like that. They can really help you. This person can also be really good at legal matters and at interviews, maybe someone that can help you prep for an interview or something. But ultimately, this can be your energy. I'm making a decision, and this is the right decision for me. So whether this is you or someone else, let the communication flow. I will leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic new moon. Hello, Libra, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. So this is all about your career, your fame, your reputation, okay? So this is a really good new moon for a new beginning in your job, new projects, to let yourself be seen. This can be where, if you're looking for a new career path, then you may get some insights or some idea of what that looks like for you. Because this is about your career and it's also happening in the sign of Cancer, connected with your home, some of you may have a new idea for a home-based business. This can be a great time to look into getting that off the ground. Maybe start it after Mercury turns direct. Okay, so after July 23rd. All right. This is like thinking time rather than the doing time. All right. But you can make the decisions and lay the groundwork and then get something off the ground. But it's a good time for that. Good time for assessing, your work-home life balance. Right? Maybe there's something new you can do there that kind of betters your situation or frees up some time. You might be looking for a new job that's closer to home so you don't spend as much time commuting, or maybe you can walk to work or ride your bicycle. All kinds of new beginnings can open up for you here. Maybe hybrid work, partially from home, partially like in the office or the workplace. And a lot of possibilities. So some of you may be looking for something new in that regard. Some of you may also have an employer that starts to recognize you and your value, and you could end up getting more work, but you could also get more recognition, because the 10th house is also about like your reputation, your fame, your fortune, right? But your career goals and your career planning. So anything new, fresh insights within that, and also growth can come in there as well. Some of you may be looking for a higher paying job so that you can afford a nicer house or move to a nicer neighborhood with your family. You could also, some of you might be wanting to kind of take a step back, right? You might be considering retirement, or you're just like, you know what, I think I'm in a place in my life where I don't necessarily need to, work full time. And so you might be looking to work part time, right? That can be it too. But this can be a really good new moon for nurturing all of your career goals, and maybe even to have some, sounds weird, but kind of have some healing energy come into your workplace. Now, what would that look like? Someone might do something miraculous and look across the salaries all across the board and like course correct everyone's salaries and get everyone back on, an even playing field, right? That could be very beneficial for you. This can be where maybe that coworker that you don't like, hallelujah, they decide to retire, and you're like, yes, healing in the workplace, right? Things like that, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be about you directly. The healing can come from other people that make your current situation a little bit better. And if you're contemplating leaving, you're like, oh, maybe now I'll stay, right? So anyways, healing of all kinds. We have for you Moonlight Serenade, change your tune. Okay. Some of you might really be changing your outlook, your perspective on what you do for a living. Okay. This can be where, how should I say? If you're not fulfilled with what you're doing for a living right now or where you're working, I feel like you're going to kind of really get a lot of clarity around that. Okay, what does that look for you? Because change your tune. What story have you been telling yourself? What energy have you been embracing? Have you been embracing the possibilities, or have you been kind of in this I can't kind of energy? And we do get in that energy a little bit, where I'm too old to do this, or it's too late to do this, or I don't have enough money to do this. When in actual fact, there's quite often something different that we can do, or we can change our perspective around all those things, because that's when we usually find the open doors. Okay, so change your tune, right? What have you been harping about? What have you been repeating? Is it a good story? Is it a bad story? Okay, is it a abundant story, right? Or is it a story of lack, right? So change your tune. So something here needs to shift so that some wonderful energy and opportunities can come in. Okay. Focus on the good things in life. Relax a little bit. Okay. Look at your situation from an alternate perspective. All right. And, maybe, just maybe, here, Libra, you may need to take the back seat. Let someone else take the lead for a change, because, you're a diplomat. Okay. You like balance, fairness, and equality. But sometimes, not always, and not every Libra, and not every situation, it may lead into people pleasing, right? And part of that may be the one that always makes the decisions, right? Let someone else take the reins. You step back just a little bit, not permanently in your life, but, we're looking at a little bit of change, right? And sometimes it can be a relief just having someone else be like, you know what, you choose, right? You decide. You take the lead this time, because I've done it the last 30 times, right? And then see what happens. See how things change in your life if you do that. So change your tune. That song you sing needs a little bit of a shake up. We've got Queen of Pentacles. So this can be about nurturing your goals, nurturing your home, yourself, your career goals. Here, the Queen of Pentacles is a very nurturing energy, very much focused on the material things, on home life, on plants, literally the earth. But this can be something that's really wonderful. It's a message for you that if you set some intentions and then you nurture your prospects, you nurture your dreams and your goals, they will blossom for you in a very wonderful way. All right, we just need to pay attention and we need to keep that focus. All right. But the Queen of Pentacles can very much be about you taking care of yourself, right? Put your own needs first for a change. Okay, and that can be really helpful for you. It can be very freeing for you, all right? But the Queen of Pentacles, as far as money goes, is very abundant energy. But it can also say that there might be something that you can do in or around your home that you can also make money at, whether it's a second job, like a side gig, or whether it's like full-time job, right? Because you would be awesome as consultants. Right? Is there an area of expertise that you have? Change your tune, right? We're not going to dance to the beat of our old drum all the time or anymore, and we're going to do something different. So perhaps you can outsource your expertise and become a consultant. Is it necessarily knowing where your paycheck is going to come from every 2 weeks? Not necessarily, unless you got a good long lineup of people wanting to tap into your experience, right? But it could be fairly lucrative for you as well. You don't need to work as much to get the same income, right? But it could be something else as well, right? But this is a great opportunity for you to kickstart your money, all right? I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful new moon, and I'll see you guys later. Hello there, Scorpio, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. Are you getting itchy feet, Scorpio? Are you ready to travel? Are you ready to explore the world? You have a new moon in your 9th house. Now, your 9th house can be about higher education. Some of you may be considering going back to school, grad school, a trade school, perhaps like get your master's degree or your doctorate. It's all about the higher mind with the 9th house. The 9th house is also about travel. usually international travel or travel in longer distances. This can also be about meeting people from different places, right? So you could potentially meet new people that become a friend, that become a business partner, right? You could meet someone new while traveling, right? This can be where you kind of meet up with new people, and sometimes hey, something a little bit longer than just a vacation friendship comes out of it. Some of you could be working with people from a foreign country here as well. You could also team up with companies, corporations that have more of a global aspect with them, right? So it's a really cool place. The ninth house is associated with Sagittarian energy and therefore Jupiter energy. Okay. And of course, within 4 or 5 days after this new moon, we've got Jupiter making all of these connections. Okay. So it can be really expansive for you. It can bring in some lucky breaks, some opportunities for you to expand your horizons, get out of your comfort zone. And it can be really wonderful. But it could come with a little bit of a challenge. So if you were planning a vacation, let's say, and maybe you were planning on going somewhere, but now you're kind of maybe looking at what's going on in, around the world with global situations and tensions and things like that. And so you may all of a sudden decide to change your travel plans. You're like, okay, well, I have my heart set on going over here. We had our tickets booked, all this kind of stuff. But you know what? I think that maybe that's not the safest place for us right now. So you're going to change where you go, right? But that can be a blessing, though, right? That change can be a blessing. That unexpected hiccup can be a blessing for you, because it may open the door to go somewhere completely different and somewhere that you wouldn't previously have considered or gone to. And it can be a really wonderful time, right? So there is travel in there. The ninth house is also about your belief systems. Some of your belief systems may be shifting a little bit at this time, and you've got some, kind of newer, deeper insights into what you believe in, or even how to meld the old belief systems with the new. Can they coexist? They can. Absolutely. Maybe not everything, but they can. And that might be kind of foreign to you, but it's workable for you. So let's see what we've got in the cards. Moon memories, the past. Okay. Now we do, at this time of this new moon, we are in Mercury retrograde. Okay. And we're actually in Mercury retrograde and Neptune retrograde here as well. Neptune retrogrades on July 7th. So this can bring about people or situations from the past. Okay. So you could have a second chance at something. You could have a second chance at a friendship, a relationship, a creative project, whatever it happens to be. Something can come back around again. So second chances are awesome. This can also be something that may come up from the past that needs healing. Again, healing, new moon, okay, that needs closure, or maybe something that you just didn't quite expect. The past can be people. It can just be memories, right? It is a rosy kind of color on this card. And that comes with a little bit of a warning, right? Remember, when we are reflecting on the past, right? When we're looking back, make sure we take off the rose-colored glasses and make sure that you are remembering things just as they were, okay? Because our brains are like mystery machines, and they will give us false memories or sugarcoat some memories to protect us from hurt. Right? Your brain wants you to be happy. And, sometimes past memories aren't happy. But when we sugarcoat those memories, that's where the problems kind of start to come in. So just remember that. Take off those rose-colored glasses and see the truth. Okay. But this is a great time to heal the past, or again, to resurrect something really positive from the past. Because you could have an idea, right? That's like, I'm going to expand upon this idea, and it can be really wonderful, right? But this can also be like, if you're, maybe wanting to travel, this can be something where maybe when you were a child, you really wanted to go here and you've never had the opportunity, but now all of a sudden, maybe you can. And this can be super cool. You're never too old, by the way, like to go to places like Disneyland and stuff. It is for adults too. So don't be afraid to tap into that inner child of yours that also needs nurturing just as much as our adult selves. And do something fun, do something wild and wacky. We have the Four of Cups here. Okay, so the Four of Cups also is, yeah, we're not necessarily like connected. We could be a little disappointed. We in this energy kind of aren't really engaged, or we're kind of waiting for something, or we feel like something's missing. Okay, so we can be feeling a little melancholy in this, but it's really more like indifferent, or again, like disengaged. So there could be something here that you do need to pay attention to. It could be something that does need healing. But it can also be like, especially with the past coming up here too. The Four of Cups often is showing you that, she's not really engaged with the things around her, right? Like she's just kind of bleh. But there's something coming in, something positive trying to come in, but she's got to change her perspective, and she's got to, believe or just be ready for, to receive things here. We're not going to do that if you're closed off, right? And so sometimes what happens is, we're kind of patiently waiting for something, and it's like, oh, we're about to give up, and then something comes in, but it may look a little different than what you had originally wanted or intended, right? But it's still really good. But with Four of Cups here with the past, it does feel like maybe there's something, you may feel that you've missed out on something from the past, or that there's something missing. And with that hand coming in, trying to deliver you something, this can really be about, revisiting something that maybe some part of you has always thought that you missed out, right? So whether it was a destination, whether it was an opportunity, whether it was a dream, a career, maybe you longed to go back to school and you never got the opportunity to. Maybe you started a family really early and just kind of went off in a completely different direction. But maybe now you're kind of coming back and going, I wish that I had done that. Well, maybe you can resurrect that dream and you can revive that and say, okay, how can I do it now? Because that door might be opening up for you now. So don't think that something is completely lost just because you didn't do it, because these opportunities to revisit something, they do come up, right? And that could be what's coming up here. So whatever this Four of Cups is for you, okay, we do need to engage. We need to open up, open our minds, open our possibilities, and we need to be willing to see things from a different angle, or to see the possibilities that lies within something. And that's where those blessings are. So I'm going to leave that there for you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful new moon, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. For you, this is your 8th house. Ooh, thank you. So your 8th house can be about things that involve other people, the things you share with other people, possessions, property, money, finances, all these kinds of things. 8th house also can represent inheritances, things that are passed down to you. It is related to Scorpio and Pluto energy, and so can be very transformative, very regenerative for you. It does bring about endings, new beginnings. Of course, one leads into another, but it can bring in growth, right? Physical growth, mental, emotional, spiritual growth, you name it, right? But it can, yes, bring about new beginnings as well. So with the 8th house energy, as far as the things you share with other people, some of you you might have some financial freedom. And it's because maybe you've paid off a loan and now you're like, woohoo, I'm free. Some of you here with the new moon, you might be buying something new, Okay. And especially this is a Cancer new moon, so something that may be around your home or your family. And so this can be like a new house, a new car, perhaps, a new mortgage. Great, right? But that's how you get your new house, most likely, right? So there could be something new going on there where you take out a loan, but you get something in return for that loan, right? So, to buy something, that big purchase that you would probably take a million years to save up for. Some of you, because it is a new moon and it is a new beginning, and it is generally very positive, but we do have the next few days, we do have kind of some shocks and surprises that can bring us freedom from something that's not working, or it's inhibiting our growth and our our prospects forward. There could potentially be an ending here somewhere. Okay, and now you need to divide up your possessions and your money and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, that can happen. Okay, but this is kind of showing you that new beginning. Okay, but we can more focus on the positive, right? Getting the things you want, sharing resources in an amicable way, possibly getting an inheritance, hopefully a living one, right? But help and support from others. But again, it's transformation and change. And, so this can be quite exciting for some of you. And it can get you out of your comfort zone, right? In multiple different ways. We have out of bounds moon and we've got boundaries here. So whatever you do share with other people, it's important to have boundaries. Okay. This is mine. This is yours. Okay. Or this is how we divvy things up. If you share money, finances with other people, we may need to put up those boundaries, okay? Because you could have two people that spend money or save money very differently than the other person does. Saggy, you're used to being fairly lucky, and probably throughout a lot of your life, maybe not all of it, because we all kind of go in those cycles, right? But probably for a lot of your life, you're like, I don't really necessarily, I worry about money enough that I need to pay my bills or, have a decent paying job, but otherwise I don't worry about it so much because something always turns up. And so you may be in that something always turns up kind of vibe, right? Because you are the luckiest sign. And I'm a Saggy rising, right? And I've kind of been that way a lot of my life, not all of my life, but there's been plenty of times where I haven't had any money, and then something will all of a sudden come up out of the blue. I'll do laundry and for once check my pockets and find $50, and it's like, woohoo, it's enough to last me till payday, and that's great. Or I might buy $1 scratch off ticket and win $20 or $50. It's like, yay. And so it's like something always comes up, right? But you can't rely on that always necessarily, although it is a good vibe to embrace. But if you are sharing money with other people, one person might be quite kind of loosey-goosey with the money, and another person may be a little more conservative. And so you have to find that common ground, right? And that's just one example of many, right? So thinking about, what you do share with other people. Boundaries with others and with yourself is always important. And we've got the devil. There you go. There's some temptation kind of energy. So the devil card is really interesting. We can't always trust other people, The devil card brings in potential power struggle. So this can be where, someone is trying to manipulate or overrule or kind of be in the position of power over something. And considering the 8th house, is other people in multiple different scenarios that you deal with. Having another person in a position of overreaching power is probably not good for you at all. You are a sign that likes your freedom, and you like to be positive and relatively outgoing and forward thinking and all that. And the devil takes that all away. So, this can be a person. So be careful, right? Boundaries and perspective are always needed with the devil card, and you already got the boundaries card. So who do you share your money with? Watch for scammers. Okay. Even though this new moon, it's not really about that. But we do have in a few days on the 18th and the 20th specifically, we do have connections with Pluto. Okay. Your 8th house is ruled by Pluto. And, Pluto does sometimes get quite the bad rap, but, Pluto is about power. It's a malefic, right? It's not a benefic like Jupiter. So he is coming around, and he's actually is making a conjunction with Jupiter. Actually, is it? No, it's an opposition, I should say. And that is on the 20th. So it's like about 6 days after the new moon. So it's just something to be aware of, that you could have manipulative people, you could have potential scammers about. So be cautious, right? It's essentially be cautious. The devil requires caution. But this can also be, like I said, about power struggles, about control. Someone wanting to control or manipulate a situation, okay? And it can also be just temptation, right? It's like, oh, I'm tempted to do this. So if you are tempted to go gambling, devil says, be cautious. Remember, you might win once, but inevitably the house always wins, right? So if you win, take your winnings and book it on the hell out of there, okay, before the house takes their money back, right? But the devil card can also be about your fears, your worries, your doubts. The 8th house can be a little bit of a darker place to be. And so you could be kind of really because this new moon is about healing, you could be kind of digging deep a little bit here. Where do I give my power away? Where do I give my authority away? Where do I need to take this back? Is there manipulative people around me? What am I afraid of? Right? All of these things, the shadow energy. And this is a great, great new moon to dig into all that because of the healing properties that it brings with it. So just be a little cautious about that devil card, because that can be the boundary you need to set within yourself. Okay, this can also be other people, but ultimately it can really be about you digging deep a little bit in this energy so that you can free yourself and move forward in a more positive way. That's what I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful new moon, and I'll see you guys next time. Hello there, Capricorn, and welcome to your new moon reading in the sign of Cancer. So this can be interesting for you. It's all about your relationships. Now, they can be romantic relationships, okay, but it can also be friendships, business partnerships, even your partnership with a practitioner, like with your massage therapist or your doctor, right? It can be relationships of all kinds. And in a new moon, we can either nurture the relationships that we already have, put a little bit more time and energy into them, spend our time with our friends, right? Or we can be attracting new relationships there as well. So pretty good place to have a new moon, a new beginning, a fresh start. For some of you, if you've been through like a little bit of a rocky patch with your relationships, okay, this can be where we do get that healing energy coming in with this moon, and this can really help you. This can help, again, nurture that connection. Some of you, because Cancer energy is about your home as well, you may, you may be in the next phase of a relationship and maybe moving in together and that kind of thing, or blending your families together. So a little bit of nurturing energy is required with that. But all about your partnerships here. Are we on the same page? Do we want the same things? Do I still dig their vibe? Right? All this kind of stuff. But essentially we can have new relationships or a new outlook or perspective on our relationships here. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We have moonlit, embrace uncertainty. Okay. So that looks very eclipsy, doesn't it? All right. We have eclipse energy coming in August. We've got a really powerful, really kind of beautiful, and hopefully fun solar eclipse on August 12th. And, then we've got 2 weeks later, then we've got a full moon, a lunar eclipse. And so, eclipses can bring about uncertainty, right? They can bring about fated events, things that are already in motion, and that's just like pretty much inevitable at this time. Not often, we can't always do something to change it. It's on that much of a path. It can bring in people to us on eclipses unexpectedly, unexpected happenings within relationships. It can be really a little bit unpredictable. So it's really kind of interesting that should kind of look a little bit like an eclipse, right? We've got the sun and we've got the moon. However, embrace uncertainty. You know, it can be a challenge in relationships to take something to the next level. Why? What if it doesn't work out? What if I get divorced? These are all fears that are coming to the surface. And every big decision that we make in our life comes with a level of uncertainty, right? But we don't want to focus on the uncertainty. We want to focus on what we want the outcome to be or how we want something to be. There's always going to be something that we're not sure of. But that's not where we want to put our focus, right? We don't want this to grow, right? We don't want uncertainty to blossom, right? So even though there may be something that you're not sure of, make sure that you're not overthinking and overanalyzing something, especially in relationships, right? Yes, there can be red flags. Now, if you have not already seen the red flags in a relationship, maybe you've been with a friend for a couple of years, or you've been in a romantic situation for God knows how long, and if you're not sure about this person and it's because you're seeing red flags, why are you still there? Right? Why are you still there? Of course you're going to be uncertain, right? A red flag is a red flag. It's there for a reason. It's waving at you, right? People will always show you who they are. Believe them the first time, right? Otherwise we get stuck in these long drawn out things, and that may have happened to you before, so now you're kind of just not really quite sure this time. Your heart, your intuition will guide you, okay? We need to trust ourselves that we're making the right decision in this moment in time, right? We can't always predict 10 years down the road in the future, right? If the energy stays exactly the way it is, we can certainly get a little bit of insight into the outcome. But ultimately, life is complex, right? And we can see the energy coming in, but if we don't, how should we say? I look at the future and the cards as like the traffic report, right? And I love doing predictions and all that kind of stuff, but I look at it as a traffic report. If you received a traffic report and you were told that there's an 18-car pileup and you're going to be stuck on the highway for 4 hours, would you still go that way, or would you change? Right? So with uncertainties and fears, when we're listening to our heart, our intuition, and we're not getting red flags, we're not getting that traffic report, right? We're not getting that warning. And maybe that's because there's no red lights, right? So trust your instincts, okay? There's always a level of uncertainty in everything that we do, okay? But is this like a major red flag, or is just like a little bit of fear? We have the Seven of Pentacles. Just stop and contemplate, okay? Seven of Pentacles is about taking your time, having patience, okay? Reflecting, where am I now? Where do I want to get to? Do I feel like I'm still on the right track, right? Or do I feel like I need to make a change? Very simple. But the Seven of Pentacles can be something wonderful that we've committed to that can have a lot of blessings tied to it. This can also represent that there may be an opportunity here, because it is Pentacles, that there could be an opportunity for a new or improved relationship with where you make your money, or your relationship with money, okay? but the Seven of Pentacles can be a time of harvest and blossoming and blessings for you. So it can be really wonderful energies. This can be a really good time, right? So new moon in Cancer in your 7th house is not a bad place to have a new moon. It can be really wonderful, and it can be like a little breath of fresh air and also potentially bring in some magical new connections. That's what I have for you guys. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello there, Aquarius, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. So this is occurring for you in your 6th house, which is all about your health, happiness, and well-being. This is also about your daily work patterns, habits, and routines. So it's time to switch it up a little bit here, Aquarius. Good time to find a new health practitioner, right? Whether it's someone to help you with your physical self, so like a massage therapist or a physiotherapist or something, personal trainer. This can be a good time for looking at your mental health and well-being, your spiritual health and well-being as well. The 6th house is also related to your pets. Some of you are getting a new pet at some point in the next couple of weeks, but in the next 6 months, most likely, for sure, because that's when this new moon will mature. But the new moon here, this can be a really good time to just switch up your routine, right? Just plain and simple. Do you normally get up in the morning? Does your alarm clock go off and then you hit your snooze button 10 times, right? Maybe it's time to switch that up a little bit. Do you start your day with you sleep in a little bit, you rush, you get out the door, and you're hurried to work, right? You can switch that up a little bit, right? Just your daily practice. Embracing a 5 minutes per day gratitude meditation can really be beneficial for you. So it's all about the 6th house. In some cases, kind of can look a little bit boring because it's just the stuff you do every day, right? But it can be a really impactful place to make little changes that can actually enhance your life in all kinds of ways. So, embrace a new exercise regime, perhaps find a new way to get to work, or perhaps, speaking of your daily work, you might be looking at where you work and saying, okay, I am spending a lot of time in the car. I think I need to try and switch this up a little bit somewhere. So either find a job where you can work closer to home, or you can do like some hybrid or walk to work or bike to work or something, or maybe with your existing employer, you might have a little flexibility with that as well. So a lot of healing energy comes with the 6th house, a lot of new small little changes that you can do in your day to day that have a big impact on your health in many, many different ways. Because this new moon is in Cancer, this can be something that involves your family as well. So perhaps you do family hikes or get more physically active as a family. Maybe find a new family doctor, right? All that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty good place to have a new moon filled with possibilities and a lot of healing energy that goes with this new moon anyway. We have here the dark moon and the past. Okay, now we get snakes on this card, so we get some healing energy coming in here. It's time for the snake to shed its skin. The dark moon energy, dark moon energy can be a massive reset. Okay, we're just going to start with a blank slate, right? Some of you, maybe in some cases, have kind of felt that you've hit a little bit of rock bottom, which would never really hit rock bottom. We always start from a place of experience and wisdom, right? It's just that maybe some of you in some ways, even just small ways, you may feel that you just need the big reset, okay? The dark moon, we can also, kind of do a little bit of digging into the darkness, okay? What needs to be healing? What's standing in my way? What am I afraid of? All this kind of stuff, okay? But I do feel like here there is some healing from the past, but you can also, the past is a little bit of a theme throughout all these readings, right? And I think that's in part because of retrograde energy that we've got going on. Mercury retrograde is especially notorious for bringing things back from the past, especially people or memories, right? Mercury is a matter of the mind. Neptune, though, is also retrograde as of July 7th. okay, all the way up until December 12th. And your modern day ruler, Uranus, is in a sextile with Neptune the day after this new moon. Okay, so new moon's on 14th, and Uranus sextile Neptune is on the 15th. And Uranus and Neptune can be a huge spiritual awakening, right? But with Neptune in retrograde, it can also be about breaking free from the past, right? Uranus is here to help you break free, find freedom, the stuff that's been holding you back, right? And we're discharging ourselves from that. We're moving forward into the future, and Neptune's like, let me just make sure that you're connecting with this so that we can break free in a healthy way. So this can be really interesting. So you can have like a huge breakthrough moment. It might be scary, but it's like exhilarating at the same time. So there is this healing energy coming in, whether it's from your long ago past. It can even be from ancestral past as well, like past lives, the family karma, that kind of stuff. But ultimately it can be really quite freeing for you. And we've got the Queen of Pentacles. All right. Queen of Pentacles, nurture yourself, your home, your family, and you will prosper. All right. The Queen of Pentacles is reminding you as well, don't sell yourself short. Okay. Because you are infinitely abundant. You have so much to give and so much going for you. So again, if you feel like things have been kind of down in the dark for a while, okay, bring yourself back up to the light, because things are about to shift for you, okay? But the Queen of Pentacles can be a caring and nurturing friend as well, okay? Maybe a new friend, right? A new beginning with somebody there, but this can really be about just taking things easy, nurturing your goals and dreams, nurturing your home, your family, yourself, okay? And look at this beautiful Queen of Pentacles, right? Filled with beauty, filled with patience, filled with calm energy, but ultimately wealthy and abundant in a myriad of ways, but very grounded and rooted in reality. So the things that we can do and take realistic steps to make those little small changes in our lives. That's what I have for you, Aquarius. Enjoy your new moon. You have a full moon coming up in your sign on July 29th. That is a very interesting one, and it is also the same day that the sun is conjunct Jupiter. So that can be really quite big. It's a big moon. It's a very big moon. But it can be really quite wonderful. Some of you could have something that is about to like explode in a really positive way. It's lucky for you, for some of you here. So if you've been waiting for some luck or some shift or some abundance, man, oh man, the next couple weeks should be very interesting. All right. So hold on to your hat, stay grounded with the Queen of Pentacles, and you will survive. All right. But I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello there, Pisces, and welcome to your new moon in Cancer reading. So this can be really quite fun for you. This is happening in your 5th house. Now, the 5th house is an area where we really do focus on the things that bring us pleasure and joy and excitement in our lives. We pick up a hobby, whether it's a new hobby or we resurrect one that we used to do and have neglected for a while. We focus on pleasure and play and going out and having fun. This is where we really tap into our inner child with the 5th house. It's also the house of romance and love affairs. So with a new moon here, especially in Cancer, this is where we start a family or we have a surprise. You might, you or someone might have a surprise pregnancy. Okay. It's just the way things go with the 5th house. But ultimately it is fun. It is pleasurable. It is joyful. Go out and have fun. Try new things. If you've always wanted to learn something fun, like for example, maybe you always wanted to learn to play the drums. Go out and play the drums. You can get pretty cheap drum kits. You know, if you live in a place where maybe it's not appropriate to play the drums, you can get an electric drum kit and you can plug in your earphones. You can still hear some banging. My dad has one. All of a sudden showed up with one day. Like, okay, Dad, but he's a musician anyway. He's got pretty much everything under the sun. But, you know, he's just wailing on his drums, right? But, you know, that's just one example, right? There's ways to get things done, right? You can even rent a musical instrument, but it could be any kind of hobby, or maybe something that you used to do when you were younger, and then life responsibilities, adulting got in the way, and now you're like, I want to go and do that. I always had so much fun doing that. Well, go and do it, right? Revisit something from your past. No big deal. Okay, so again, fifth house, pretty sparkly place to have a new moon. It can bring in new people, new romance, new babies. So be careful if that's not what you want. New people and new activities that can just all fill your heart with fun and joy. We've got Moonlight Serenade, change your tune. Okay, time to have fun, Pisces. Time to have a lot of fun, actually. Change your tune is, you know, what is the tune that you've been singing? All right. What have you been repeating? What mantra have you been repeating? What channel have you been on? Okay. Time to change it a little bit. Time to switch it up a little bit. Okay. If you've been kind of in a little bit of a woe's me energy, or if you've been maybe processing some grief, right? We do that. Okay. It's time to shift to positivity, abundance, joy, new beginnings. Okay. Turn over that new leaf. It's time to just do something a little bit different than what you have been doing. Right. So if you're always the person that is nurturing everyone else, take a step back from that for a minute. Nurture yourself instead. Change your tune. Okay. Some people may get upset, right? It's just the way things go, right? Because they've been benefiting from your good nature. You know, if you're always the one that, is I don't know, the positive person in the group, or, maybe you have pressure on you because you're the creative force behind the group. Again, change your tune in some way. Do something a little bit different. Okay. If you've been working, it's time to have fun, right? If you've been single, maybe this is where you can embrace a door opening for romance in your life, right? Switch it up just a little bit. Change your talking points, change the story that you're telling yourself, flip that script. You will do nothing but benefit from that. Queen of Pentacles again. Holy moly. Okay. So Queen of Pentacles, nurture yourself, your goals, your dreams. Be patient with yourself and other people. Okay. Something is blossoming for you. Anything new that you do right now, you will be rewarded. Okay. Because that Queen of Pentacles is very slow moving energy. But when we commit to something, and when we commit to the positive things, and we commit to the things we want to blossom and grow in our lives, they will. Right? So stay positive and keep that abundant mindset rather than a lack mentality. Now, the reason I say holy moly is because Aquarius definitely got this card, and I'm pretty sure that Capricorn got it as well. And as you see, I mean, I don't put it in the top of the deck. I put it in the middle somewhere, and then I shuffle after the last reading, and then I also shuffle before your reading and once the camera is on. So it's no coincidence. Okay. So this can really be a wonderful time for the last three zodiacs to embrace some abundance and reap your rewards, essentially here with this. Okay, so Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, right? The rewards, they're finally coming your way. Okay, so it starts at this new moon. Tell yourself a different story. Don't be afraid to make change, and those rewards will come to you. That's what I have for you guys. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.